Howdy, everybody. So we're going to do another piece of the simulation here, which is actually to look at the simulation proper. So I'm actually going to show you the capstone simulation, each of the practice portions, which are described in the prior lecture. You can go through on your own. They are intended to be very guided. The main simulation, on the other hand, leaves a lot of the decision processes to you and provides only minimal guidance. So that's why you do need to do those practice modules first. So when you open up the simulation, this is what you'll see. Again, this can be done on a PC. It can be done on a tablet as well, actually. Strangely enough, I find it actually runs on tablets better, but nonetheless, I'm going to use a PC to show you this because I can't record on a tablet. So here we go, practice operations. Now you see it gives you some information. You can click on the advisory panel, which is up here, which will give you lots of information. So you continue through these toggles and that'll let you start the simulation. So what are the advisory pieces? Well, what's your role? What's your goal? What is reputation? Many of the things that I touched on very briefly in the introductory slides, but this gives you a lot more detail. How do you complete a contract? Well, that means you have to do all the operational decisions of procuring the materials, actually going through the production process and shipping out to the customer, hopefully on time, or you will be penalized strongly in your reputation score and eventually lose business. So I won't go through each one of those in detail, but I am going to go through some of the pieces of the simulation so you can see how it actually works. As you see, when we start off, we actually do have some contracts slots. Now, we only have one contract active, which means we have to choose which contracts we want to get. Well, how do we start choosing those contracts? Well, we have to have labor to produce them, and that's HR. So right now, we have two people waiting to see if they can get a job with us. The first person, Brian here, costs $420. Now, that might not mean much to you yet, but I will tell you that that's a little bit pricey. He better have a pretty strong skill set at something to cost that much money. Let's go to the next person. So we're going to click our right arrow here. We've got Rafferty. Well, he's about the same skill set, but only $260. So one of the trade-offs you have here is you have to hire people on a timely basis, but sometimes they're too expensive. So you need to judge carefully what people to hire and what positions to put them in. I'm going to go ahead and hire Rafferty here. Now, where do we want to put him? Well, I don't have anybody in any departments yet, which means I'm in a serious crunch for actually getting things done. So right now, since I know I'm going to have to buy materials, and he's pretty much a jack of all trades but master of none, I'm going to toss him into receiving. So that means he's going to be bringing the materials in, sorting them, and putting them into the production process when we get around to actually fulfilling that contract. Now, what else can you do in human resources? Well, we haven't done anything yet. We haven't even started a cycle. We haven't started the production process. We haven't bought any new materials. We haven't done anything at all. So nothing's happened here yet. But what you can see is you have payrolls. You have payrolls in each of the departments, bidding and contracting, which we're going to look at next, receiving, production, and finally logistics and shipping. So from there, let's go into bidding and contracting. So bidding and contracting has multiple players here. We have our actual work requests where we place bids. These are the actual contracts we're going to bid on. Now we have a lot of options here. We have a whole lot of options. We have all these different companies with different reputational requirements, different quantities demanded, different unit prices. 25 cents a unit, not very profitable. So we see that the total value of this contract, should we fulfill this for the client, which is in this case, right here, we can sort by client or we can sort by product or reputation. If we were to fulfill these contracts, how much money would we actually make? And the answer is, well, quite a bit down here, $20,800 if you fulfill this one, but only $150 if we just made socks. So where do you want to put your bids? Well, I will give you a piece of advice and a tip here. When your reputation, which you see up here at the top middle of the screen, when your reputation is only 1 star, you really are only going to get 1-star contracts. It's extremely unusual, and you have to really undercut the competitors, which you can't see because they don't tell you what their pricing and timings are. You have to undercut them significantly, probably ruining the possibility of making money. So in general, you need to keep with your own reputation level. So if we're a 1-star, we're going to have to bid on 1-star contracts. Now, I'm not going to bid on any contracts here, but if I were to bid on a contract, here's how I do it. I can say, here's what I'm going to charge you. And if you give a price discount, higher probability of getting the contract. If you give a lead time that is longer, that is to say, you're saying, I'm going to require more time to fulfill this contract. It might help you actually get it done on time, but it's going to hurt your ability to actually gain the contract in the first place. So you can do anything you want here. You can say, whoa, geez, I don't have anything going on. I get this to you a lot faster than you require. How quickly do they need it? Well, they might not need it that quickly. I just took it down 4 weeks. So that's a lot. Now, they might not value that very much, but let's say I said, okay, I'm going to come down 4 weeks and I'm going to raise the price. I'm going to charge you a little bit more, but I'll be a lot faster. Well, do they really value that? And that's a question you have to ask yourself. Do these customers actually value that? And that's something you need to play around with to find out how the different customers behave. All right. So I'm not going to do a bid right now, but just showing you the system. What else is going on here? Well, we have marketing. We have the market research side. So we have clients, and this is what I was talking about. You need to go through this and find out. Now, what are the different values of these clients? So Stallion Apparel, which is a low reputation, probably bargain basement, kind of a clearance kind of company that's always selling at the undercut level. Well, as you see, their number one priority, if you want to win their bids, is keep it cheap. Now, their order sizes tend to be small, and they're cheap, which means you're not going to make much money on each contract. You might get reputational boosts early on by fulfilling contracts for Stallion, but in the long run, you're really not going to get that much profitability from them. So this is a dangerous company with which to partner in the long run. Now, product value, this is to say quality, is really low. So they don't have a really high standard on much of anything. So they're not really that concerned about timeliness, which is what we see Burgundy Fashion's very concerned about here. Burgundy Fashion tends to order medium order sizes, so a little bit bigger, probably more profitable. Product value still relatively low. Reputational score you see is a 2-star. Going all the way down, where you're going to make your big money, at least potentially, is something like Serendipity Designs. They have very large order sizes, but they require very high product value, which means a premium price, both for their customers and a premium price you get to charge this company. Now, watch your margins. That's a key part, of course, in profitability for any company. You're not going to be able to bid for their contracts early on because they have such a high reputational score requirement. So that's just not going to work out very well for you, at least not in the early going. As you get through cycles and you get your reputation score up by working with the other clients, you might be able to get Serendipity Designs to partner with you and buy your goods. Now, what are the products we can produce? There are many kinds. They come across all these different fabric styles: nylon, khaki, silk, wool. Some of these are more profitable than others. For instance, silk tends to be pretty profitable and sells all year round. Now, how do I know about that all year round? That's where I buy market research. So right now we see that silk ties are the offered products, but in winter of 2020, we're starting in winter because we're starting in January. The top product here is low-rise denim jeans, but you can also have designer jeans. You can have, well, white socks, and you can also have heavy socks. Here's my Diet Dew, that's right. Now, spring of 2020, we haven't gotten yet. It costs $10 to get the market research, cheapest market research ever known to man. You have $10,000 in the bank, and you can go negative. It won't stop you from doing that. So clearly, you should be purchasing the intelligence, the forecasting, the knowledge of which products are coming in the future, which is slightly randomized for each trial. Now, it is balanced, so all of you will face a very similar context, but there is some randomization in here, so you cannot make the exact same decisions every time. I'm going to go ahead and purchase all of my market intelligence for the entire coming seasons. Now, what we see here is the hot products change. In spring, we're starting to move to shorts, but we also have windbreakers. In the summer, we're t-shirts, we're polos, we are designer graphic t-shirts. We're, again, going to be shorts, in this case, Bermuda shorts. So you have to decide, are you going to chase the top product demands? Are you going to chase hot product demands, or are you going to be steady in the materials you use? Because again, notice, silk, boxers and ties and dresses, dresses and ties, and then dresses, boxers, and ties again. So you could produce dresses, boxers, and ties all the way through the entire simulation, specializing in silk as a material, just as an example. What else do we have going on? Well, let's go back. So I'm going to use my master button here to go back home, which means show me all the departments. Now, of course, you also, point this out here, have shortcuts to each department here. So here's HR, bidding and contracting, and here's receiving. Now, receiving has a lot going on. I'm going to point out something that's kind of a hidden piece here, just as a tip. This is an indication if there's material sitting here. So we have the materials all nicely sorted over here. We see that we have some nylon, we have some wool, we have some cotton that's already been sorted for us. If you see a lot of materials here, which will be in boxes that are not marked yet because we don't know what's in them and we have not inspected the quality, so we don't know if we're actually going to be able to use those materials. If you see a lot of boxes stacked up here, what that tells you, as a hint, is you don't have enough labor in the receiving department to actually sort the incoming materials and do your testing. So remember, we talked about this in statistical quality control. When you're buying batches of goods from others, you still often have to look through those batches to determine the quality. Now, when it comes to actually buying the things we need to use, I tend to shop by material. Shopping by material, in my opinion, is just an easier way to think about things. And we see that shopping by material, let's say I'm shopping socks that I have as a contract right now, the only contract I have. What I'm going to do is go through and evaluate, do I meet my customer's quality requirements? So that's going to be here. What's my unit price? And as you see, the higher the quality, generally speaking, the higher the price. Now let's say I decided to specialize in silk. Much more expensive. We see that Owens Textiles, quality 50, unit price $3.20. We see Preston Fabrics, $4.80 per unit of silk, and well, not very high quality, 80. Do you really need that level of quality? Does that price margin actually make sense with the contract you bid on? Well, those are questions I can answer because I'm not using your strategy. You can keep track of when you have things expected to arrive. So this means that you have a lead time on the materials coming in, as well as a lead time that you need to fulfill to meet your client's demands, as well as a lead time that we're going to see in shipping that it still requires to go out in the truck. And we can also shop by supplier. Why would we do this? Well, because some suppliers have lower reliability, different quality levels, and different pricing structures. Now, the pricing is transparent. You can see it. This one right here, as a hint, is a trap. Low reliability means that they may or may not get it to you on time, and that's going to cost your entire system productivity if they don't. Taking a look down here, let's go to United Fabrics. High reliability, which means that very often, not guaranteed, there is some variability, even in the real world, just as we're seeing now with giant supply chain disruptions. Even when this company is usually very high reliability, that means they're going to get you high quality materials at a, well, it's medium quality materials at a relatively fast pace, and they're going to get you the right quantity at the time that you set. That's great, but you're going to pay a price to get that. All right, so stepping back out into the production floor. Here's the production floor. Now let's go ahead and show an example. So we know we have one contract right now. It's from Stallion Apparel, low quality. We know that we're just starting in the market, so we have to start somewhere. They have socks. 300 is the quantity we need to produce. Quality requirement is 50. What do we see? Well, right now, we have 100 units of cotton in stock, but we need 1 unit of cotton per sock. We need 300 socks. We only have 100, which means we are 200 units shy in terms of having the materials we need. Now, as it turns out, based on our contract, the quality of 50 is met because we have stock quality of 50 based on the inspection we've already done. Let's go ahead and start up that contract. So we have to produce 300. So I'm just going to click up to 300 here. And there we go. Priority, well, it's the only job I have, so it's going to stay priority number 1. If you have multiple jobs and competing lead times, you might have to change the priority of those jobs and how you use your machinery and resources. We're going to go ahead and use this. Now we have a green light right now. So the green light is good. It means that we're producing. We're already starting to do our run, but we don't have enough material. So I'm going to step back for a moment here and order some more cotton because I know I need it. Now, if you recall, the cotton needs to be of quality 50. If you do anything else, you'll get dinged on your reputation score. So I'm going to go with Owens here. Now notice some things are going on here. They give discounts for large order sizes. They give discounts if you give them longer lead times. Now in this case, lead time's a little risky because we do need to get this contract completed within 8 weeks. We have lead time on shipping, we have lead time on receiving, and we have to produce it. So there's time and more time. All right. So we know we need 200 units, and notice they don't allow you to get any more. Lead time, well, I'm going to ask for it to be very fast here. So we're going to go ahead and make that purchase. Now, it's not going to arrive immediately. The delivery schedule says, well, we don't know what actually was delivered. This is a low reliability supplier, so we're kind of gambling by only ordering 200. They might short us. That could happen. Expected quantity is not the real quantity. That's what we ordered versus what we know we've received. 200. Quality is supposed to be 50. It may or may not be that quality from a low reliability supplier. Coming back into the production, you can buy different machinery based on what the different products require. Do we need dyeing? Well, maybe we do, maybe we don't. Depends on which products you're producing. All right, something else to notice about the machinery beyond what machinery is required to produce which products. We can do upgrades. So we see that our sewing machine right now is going to go from, let's see here, 166 seconds per operation, that is per piece of material going through, at a cost of 20 cents for each material processed. If we were to spend $1,800 now, we would drop the price by 10%, going from 20 cents to 18 cents. We got the time from 166 to 136, quite an increase in the speed or a decrease in the time required per operation. Should we do this or should we not? This looks a lot like break-even analysis. I'm going to go ahead and do it just for fun. Now we have production churning along here. Hopefully it'll be fast enough. Now notice we have no human resources. When you hire people, they'll be standing here waving their arms side to side like the Sims. Very realistic. Well, at least more realistic than the spreadsheets. We'll give it that. Finally, when you actually do get a product done, you're going to go into shipping. Now shipping gives you all kinds of options. You can do a small package up to 100 pounds or just shy, 100 pounds to 250 pounds or 250 pounds or more. Different materials have different weight classes. Based on that material weight, you're going to change the cost. So as we see, we gain economies of scale with large freight shipments. $175 up front, big fixed cost, very small variable cost. Now, which one of these should you use? Again, it's a break-even analysis, and it also is based on the timing. That is 2 weeks for standard shipping, 1 week for expedited, or immediate same-day delivery or same-week delivery using, I guess, Amazon's system. When you actually have something to ship, which we do not, you can then choose the method, the pace, and the cost that you're going to incur. So with that, a couple other notes. We have finances. Nothing's happened yet. You can track your weekly, monthly, and quarterly earnings, and you're going to want to pay attention to this because, again, the goal, at least in part, is to maximize your net worth. So looking at this, maximize net worth we see as our goal. Okay. Our net worth appears right here. Our account balance, remember I spent $30 out of my $10,000 to buy my forecast for marketing purposes. My account balance and my net worth are different. Account balance is the cash on hand. Net worth is what I actually have going through the system in terms of the contracts I'm fulfilling at particular times and when I've actually received my money, which is only when the customer has received their order. Reputation score. The higher the better, it will influence your grade. Your reputation can only go up to 4 stars, but technically the reputation score can go far higher than that. 4 stars is just an indication that you can bid on 4-star contracts. Reputation score can go much higher and will help your grade. Another thing you need to pay attention to is if you are getting the products to the customers on time. So again, really, that's the final step here is shipping. If you're not getting these to the customers on time, that will ding your reputation score and it will ding your grade as well. But the most important element of your grade is, again, going to be maximizing your net worth. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and end my turn, which means that I'm saying I don't want to make any more decisions, no more hiring, no more bidding. I haven't done any bidding, actually, which normally you would do. But in this case, I'm just giving you an overview of the simulation. End my turn. What do we see? Well, wow, the materials are coming in. There they are. Delivery is coming in. We have our worker, who, remember, we hired from HR and put into receipt, and our worker's ready to start sorting. The machines are still churning along here. We only have 7 weeks instead of 8 weeks to complete the order. So with that, that's the simulation at a high level.